You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Polity live from KAFTAN television studios in Abuja, the nation's capital, and we are discussing EDO governorship election. You know, today is Wednesday. It is crunch time for the election. All eyes are on Edo State to see what the electorate could do there. I was speaking with Ibrahim, Garba, Iceman. You were giving us your perspective. I want you to tell us before I come to Abdulazeez, Idris, how are the electorate responding to the atmosphere so far? What did you see? Talking to voters, what are they expecting? Because there are concerns that Edo State is one of the most volatile, states in terms of election violence. What did you hear?
Thank you very much. From what you know, Benin City, or rather Benin, is an old town, and the people of Benin, they are very much enlightened, and they are not taking things for granted. But you know, the politicians have a huge responsibility on them to counsel and mobilize voters. I had the opportunity of speaking with some people. The general, attitude of the people is that of, okay, let us do something our own way. The traditional institutions have a huge role to play in counseling their people, the politicians. But the high point of it is the fact that the failure of PDP to sign that peace accord. We faulted it. Generally, there are so many CBOs and NGOs that felt they are not being fair, they are not being patriotic, and they are putting fears in the minds of people, and especially those that are, because we are going to have a lot of electoral observers coming in. We have so many from the diaspora community that are coming in. We have a lot of people that have been accredited for voting. So if at the end of the day you are not ready to sign this peace accord, it translates to one thing: there could be violence. So we anticipated that, but with a heavy deployment of security personnel,
38,000.
38,000.
In addition to 8,000 support
and all that, we are going to witness an atmosphere of peace. Okay. I assure you of that one. Number two is the fact that there's a lot of voter education that was going on, and we still need to remind people with reference to section, the Electoral Act, whereby it's clear that where there is violence, that polling unit, every vote that is cast there is null and void, zero. That is on one side. Then number two, they should be aware incidences of overvoting, because it happened in previous election where elections were cancelled because of overvoting and all, underage voting and all that. So Edo people must take that into consideration, that one, any incident that lead to overvoting, that polling unit will be cancelled. Violence will not be tolerated, and we understand that people are going to take pictures. Okay, and people have to be very careful, because this election will decide a lot of things. By the time
it's a litmus test.
It's a litmus test. But again, I will call on the gladiators. The people matters, because you are going to govern the people. But we should not do anything that overheats the polity by using hate speech, by discriminating against others. But the election, we should not take the wish of the people, the will of the people for granted, because without them, the election cannot take place. Because even people are saying, if the tension becomes so high, because the way the stakes are now, INEC may be forced, to postpone the elections, and we don't want to see that happen.
Okay, Abdulazeez, let me come to you. You've heard him. Ibrahim Garba Iceman said this election, the Edo governorship election, can be referred to as a litmus test for future, election. Even though it is an off-cycle election, the police has deployed 38,000 personnel to provide security, in addition to 8,000, provided by other sister security agencies. But the government of the day in Edo State has refused to sign the peace accord, even though the peace accord is not constitutional. It is based on moral grounds that their leaders are supposed to come and sign, the political leaders, the chairman and the candidates are supposed to come and sign at the ceremony to ensure that they are going to provide peaceful atmosphere. And a peaceful atmosphere during election could serve as a guarantee for a free, fair and violent-free election. The refusal to sign that peace accord by PDP, how did you receive it? Because they based their argument on two things. One of them is the redeployment of the Commissioner of Police in the state.
Yes. Not only how I see it, but how people view it from their own perspective. You know, people have different perspective on all this. Lack of them signing this peace accord, it's a major setback to the election and to the electorates. At least my colleague here, he has mentioned it that he sending a warning to voters that they have to ensure that the election is free of any violence, thuggeries and other things. Or if you look at the way PDP take the matter, why they refuse to sign, within their reasons, if you look at it, it's uncalled for. It lacks substances. One major reason was they said the deployment of the police. The second one, I thought, an instances why they are saying there are people who were being arrested and they were detained unlawfully here in either Abuja or in Edo. All these things shouldn't have deterred them from signing that peace accord. According to what I think is the best thing for them to do is to sign the peace accord. Then if they have any other issues that they wanted to resolve with the Nigerian police, Nigerian security, and even with other political parties, it's good to sit down and iron it out. It will be better, because the election, the voters, the electorates, they are the one at the receiving end if there's any violence. So based on that, I think I will like to also align and advise the PDP people that they should try and see that they sign that peace accord. It's not yet late, and they should try and enlighten their members to shun any violence during the election, ballot box snatching, and so many other forms of electoral misdeeds should not be allowed. Not only PDP, all the parties. If you look from we heard from him now, Mr. Iceman, where he is citing the prowess, the political powers of the three major contenders. If you look at it carefully, you see that both of them have the chances of winning election. But the best, definitely is only one person that will win election. Exactly. The others must lose. And definitely what is expected of them was to help the one that win to move Edo State forward for the future development and reconstruction. The youths need skills and transformation. Edo people, some of them are farmers, some of them are skills labor people where they need to improve their lives. They shouldn't base this one, being that it's a litmus test also for the upcoming election in 2027, that is nationally, I know, but at the same time, Edo election should not be a situation whereby it will escalate to a kind of violence that will show that maybe in the near future or before 2027, our political gladiators and also our security might not be able to handle the election very well.
Well, at this point, it is auspicious for us to open our telephone line, the master control room. Yes, that's right there. They have displayed the telephone number so that viewers can begin to call in to make the program conversational and interactive. Please, viewers, our vibrant callers, do call in so that you can share your thoughts with us and your opinion as well. Garba Iceman, you have been emphasizing on only three candidates, just like Abdulazeez here. And I've heard so many people talk about only three candidates. When I open the pages of newspapers, I hear about only three candidates. But 17 political parties have fielded candidates, and let me read some of their names. For Governor A, political party A, Iyere Kennedy. And then for AA, is Segoi Tom. And then for AAC is Udom Obafaimo David. And then for ADC is Domwen Osanwen Derek. And then for ADP is Akimie Kingston. And then the APC, very popular, Okpebolo Monday. And then for Abga, Osifo Isaiah. And then Ogbegbe Odaro Sylvester is the governorship candidate for APM. And that of APP is Ared Logbe Amos. And then the BP governorship candidate for Edo State is Osiriame Edeipo. And then for Labour Party, Akpata Olumide Anthony, the former NBA chairman, national president. And then the NNPP, that's Ponkosos Party, is Azena Azemere Friday. And then number 13 is the PDP governorship candidate, the protege of Godwin Obaseki is Igodalo, very popular one for that matter, Aswe Remy. Now the PRP, People's Redemption Party, the candidate is Key Patience Didi. And then that of SDP, the Social Democratic Party, is Anerwa Abdullahi Aliu. And then YPP has Apunowa Paul Ogovan, and Zenith Labour Party, the last but not the least, is Ekalama Amai Nobga. These are the 17 candidates, 16 male and 1 female. But we're not hearing about the rest. We only hear in the media about only 3 candidates. Would you say they're just running the race for the heck of it, or what?
Macaulay is expensive going into this type of venture. And that is one. And number 2, there's this provision whereby these other 14 political parties co-align with others. Yes, I like it. It makes democracy healthy, and you can negotiate your way. If you say, I'm in APC because I have federal might, I cannot align with any other political party, then you are going to fail. And already for the past weeks, I've been hearing incidences like that, whereby some political parties are aligning with PDP, some with ABC, and some are going towards the Labour Party, because you have to test where you can have numerical advantage. And don't forget, it's between the 3 senatorial zones of North, South, and Central. And it's a key element, because as I'm talking to you, Edo Central, they say, no, it's our turn, the Ishan. So if you are going to deny us, we will not allow you to have peace of mind. So I think that is why generally I look at it that look, it's going to be a very heavily contested election on Saturday. And like I pointed out earlier on, over almost 200 words, and we have the battleground area, which is Edo South, and the Edo South is where people are even assuming that Labour Party came in because they want to drag votes from the PDP to make it easier for APC to win the election. So there's this permutation. But Olumide, as I'm talking to you, he has been campaigning. Peter B was there, and you think he will just come out and then chicken at the end of the day. No, I think the stakes are high, and I love this this challenge, because Obaseki for the first time knew that he's going to come to face with his political mentor in the past, that is Adam Soshimole. He's going to come face to face with Olumide Akpata, who is just like his brother, and at the same time, he's going to come face to face with the federal might, because PDP is there now for how many years, and the same PDP want to continue after this one, and that is why it is very healthy and interesting. And like Edo people this time around, they are going to watch closely, and like you rightly know, in Nigerian politics, all these things by Thursday night they will take a decision. Okay. Thursday night, generally in Nigerian elections, I keep telling people, elections are won and lost on Thursday nights. Okay. So let's see how it goes.
Let's take this caller. Let's see how it goes with this caller. Good afternoon. We are on to the Polity live from KAFTAN Television. Please go ahead with your contribution, your name and where you're calling from. Good afternoon. You are too low. We can't hear you.
Yeah, my name is
John Darlington, John Darlington. Go ahead, please, with your contribution.
I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay, go ahead, John Darlington.
Yeah, please, I want to make it straight and point back. The Edo State election, if the people, if the government and the security agencies, they want it to be peaceful, it will be peaceful.
Okay.
But if they don't want it to be peaceful, I believe they know what to happen, because Edo people are very enlightened. They are socialized. So I don't think that they can be manipulated.
Okay.
So the only issue there is that let them be let the police especially be unbiased.
Okay.
So your guest there is heaping blame on PDP. If in a situation where PDP elders, PDP people have been arrested without questioning, without nothing, and they are still in prison, and you said they should come and sign peace accord, yeah, Tinubu did not sign any peace accord. So the peace accord is primary. It's primary. It's secondary. It's not primary. Let there be decorum. Let the agencies that are involved, INEC, the police, all the army, everybody, let them play to the game, play to the rule, and let them be neutral and allow the people to choose who will lead them as governor of Edo State.
As he's of the view that it doesn't really matter whether peace accord has been signed or not, because in the first place, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not sign peace accord in 2023. Do you agree with him that it doesn't really matter?
No. I disagree with him in the fact that when he cited the example that President Ahmed Tinubu did not sign peace accord, I think presidency replies to that when Hassan Matthew Cook, Reverend Father, stated it in one of his in one of the occasions in Edo State. They replied, and that reply, they replied, I think is true, because we witnessed the time that the first peace accord was signed by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, and the second one was signed by Tinubu by himself. That one, we witnessed that. So that's why I can't concur with him on that. On the aspect of the whether he couldn't see reasons why Edo PDP should go into this peace accord, you see, we are talking about peace. For peace to be on ground, sometimes even if you feel unjust, you should allow peace to reign. So what I see here is there is no problem that doesn't have a solution. Any issue that you see, when you put it on table, it will be resolved. Now, if they refuse to sign this peace accord, it's not constitutional. It's on, as you said, it's on moral grounds. So if they refuse to sign this peace accord and election went violence, they can be held accountable. Especially with the fact that people, both the parties are expected to counsel their members. To counsel the voters, as he said, the communities, the traditional rulers, according to Iceman. He mentioned it. So there's a need for both the parties to come together. Peace is bigger than anything. So the best thing for them to do, to me, I cannot speak for them, but at least I can suggest, which I see is very, very, very much relevant, if you can consider other states. There were other states that they have similar problems. Deployment of security agents and arresting of it's not new. It's not something new. So since it's not new and it's not peculiar to only Edo State, why can't they agree to that peace accord? It's very, very important. As I said, right of voters, feasible conduct should be number one priority in this Edo State election, because it is a litmus test for other coming elections in other states and the nation at large in the coming 2027, because these three major contenders, as you mentioned earlier, there were other contenders, but people are not talking about them. The main heavyweights are the three major parties, but equally, still, notwithstanding, still there's a need for people to understand that politics without embitterment is far better than politics of do or die affair. Which is give the bedrock and the grassroots bedrock for development and transformation in politics.
Garba Iceman, let's talk about the rivalry that is the growing rivalry between PDP, the governing the party in Edo State, and APC, the party in charge at the national level. You know, it is more of a status and influence, status symbol and influence contest between the two familiar allies. You know, Godwin Obaseki, that's the incumbent governor, and his predecessor, Comrade Adams Oshomole, now a senator, will be so much power, you know, that is being referred to as federal might. Before the duo parted ways, the two of them, before they parted ways, they were political bedfellows, such that against all protestations, Oshomole, as the outgoing governor in 2016, ensured that Obaseki, who then was a political neophyte or a greenhorn, became the governor of the state on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. But soon after the inauguration of Obaseki, the honeymoon between them, so to speak, you know, became sour, and between him and his benefactor, you know, that is Oshomole. Both men became political enemies till date. Now, this election is going to rekindle that enmity. It has already rekindled that enmity. Oshomole is said to be coming with federal might. Then, Godwin Obaseki is said to be rooted at the grassroots. Which one do you think will hold sway, federal might or the grassroots might?
Before I answer that question, let me say this, that it's better, it's very strategic for Labour Party to take advantage of these two warring factions. If they know how to play their game very, very well. Because these two heavyweights, they are overheating the polity in Edo State. That is one. Number two, don't forget that this politics of godfatherism is not taking us anywhere. Like it's happening in Rivers State now. It happened in Lagos, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come from, and even in Kano. Whether you like it or not, the politics of godfatherism will tear this nation apart. Now, coming down to this level, you mentored Obaseki by bringing him to power. And it is required that the mentee should be subservient to the mentor. That is, if there are monetary involvement, inducement, or whatever, or there are structures you beat on ground, you want to hijack or take over, that is where disagreement normally comes in. So what led to that crisis? It was during Buhari's time, I will not forget, and Buhari mentioned that no, the elections must be free, fair, and credible without manipulations. So it is on that ground that Obaseki, I will not forget, ran to the villa to seek redemption from Buhari. And Buhari said, no. That election must be conducted peacefully. So Obaseki eventually won. Now this time around, and people, especially Nigerians, they are not contented with the body language of Mr. President. Because what happened in Kogi and other places, they are seeing the handwriting of the word that the same thing may happen in Edo State. As it is now, as it stands now, Wike is in PDP. He went to campaign for APC.
He did.
The Senate president went to campaign for him. Other ministers were there, politicians were there to campaign for APC. And meanwhile, the candidate of the APC, there's a general complaint that is not that qualified. So the people of Edo State are looking at it this way, that you see, the fight between these two heavyweights may not be healthy for Edo people. And for the fact that no, the PDP have overstayed and it's time to shift the ground. And apart from that, is the fact that Edo South have enjoyed these 8 years. So why not shift it to Edo Central or Edo North? So there's this political rivalry, and which I believe that, Macualey, we have not seen the beginning yet. And it is earlier the Edo people take a very smart decision, the better for them. Because one, if PDP win, for instance, does that mean Oshomole will go into exile? Or if the APC wins, what is the fate of Oshomole, what do they call? Obaseki. Because Obaseki is going, and if he leaves, there may be incidences whereby whatever he has done, somebody will rubbish it. So in between,
or even expose
some of this things. And again, there's a there's a video I saw recently that went viral, that even the traditional institutions were working against Obaseki. So Obaseki is up against fighting many battles. If it's in the north, I know definitely what will happen. Somebody from somewhere, nowhere, or overnight they will settle and say, oh, look, let's go for this person. And that is why I say that, look, it's a win-win situation, whichever we go. Over 190 wards, and we have the battleground area, which is Edo South. Edo Central have only 5 local governments, okay, and Edo North 6 local government. But again, every one of these among these politicians will go for this 11 local government to see what they can take off from there. But if you look at the narratives, the way it's going, I think it's going to be tough for all these 3 contenders. Talking
about being tough, we're coming back to you to talk about, to take a look at the strengths and weaknesses of these 3 political parties against the backdrop of an analysis that was done by one of Nigeria's leading newspaper of reckoning. Okay. And before then, let me ask Abdulazeez. I know that even in advanced democracies, debates don't win election, but certainly they can swing, the pattern of the reasoning or thinking of some voters. Even though it cannot affect the entire demographic. Should there have been debate, going forward for this Edo State governorship election between these 3 candidates, Ugodalo, Akpata, and Ekpebolo?
Yes, it would have been good, really. Okay. Because if you look at the in a democratic setting, even in the developed worlds, they do have debate for them to hear from the candidates. Exactly. Their manifesto chief, their plans to move the state ahead, and maybe apart from that, even that could bring out their capability, as in they speak their own value that they are going to add to the state. You understand? So it would have been very important that if they have debate, you understand. Mr. Iceman was also talking about the godfatherism. Godfatherism sometimes, you understand, moves politics, but at the same time, we know it's not good. These 3 major contenders, if you look at both of them, they have their own godfatherisms. Obaseki is with the PDP candidate. They might fall apart after he entered office, as he did with Oshomole too. The Labour Party is Peter Obi standing for him, and other PDP, Labour Party major contenders. At the same, likewise the APC, who were talking about the federal might. Let them come together, have a debate, and in that debate, let everyone tell Edo people, articulate his programs, his views, his vision, and how he's going to move Edo State forward.
And you think that can swing, the voting pattern? Of
course, it will. It will definitely. The voters, though in Nigeria here, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't. Not like in developed nations, but still, notwithstanding, it will still, some of the voters might swing. That can change them to think, no, this is better person, this is not better person. But let me tell you, several debates in Nigeria here hardly works. Because, for example, just take, for example, a 2023 election. When it's come to debate, Peter Obi speaks better when it's come to debate than both President Tinubu and Ibn Atiku Abubakar. But at the end of the day, who wins? Tinubu wins election. So we have to look at all these antecedents. And
a debate was arranged. Let me conclude this line of thoughts.
Yeah.
And a debate for that governorship election was arranged. Only Akpata, appeared for the debate. He was the only one that attended. Monday Ekpebolo, who is widely known to be inarticulate, and he's been alleged to have avoided media appearances to give press interviews, and many people believe that he cannot even speak English. But I know that good English is not a yardstick for intelligence.
Yes, yes, yes.
What's your reaction to the fact that a debate was convened and only Akpata appeared?
Yeah, it doesn't sound good for them, for the rest of the parties. The other party that people are thinking that he cannot speak English, that I think the APC.
Yes, it's the APC.
So I had him speaking, though, some people are introverts. Some people, they are not vocal. Yeah. They cannot be able to speak. But as even Iceman say, you can never underestimate what they can do when it comes to performance administratively. So that's why sometimes even the debates might not be able to clearly state it who is better. But in the same at the same time, is appalling for only one person to appear in that debate while the rest, Godalo refused to also appear in that debate. It's not good. They should have come. Babalo, I think he's on APC. Yes. They were alleging that he's panel beta, he's this, he's that. You know, it doesn't matter. We have seen a situation whereby people elect somebody who they think he has the educational background,
and he's a poor performer.
And yes, at the end, his performance is very
abysmal.
You understand?
I agree with you.
Yeah. So definitely, yes, they should not base their grounds on that. Voters should think wisely. They should look at their level of achievement internally within the state.
Okay.
They should be able to justify who among them has Edo State at his heart.
Okay. Who has Edo State at heart? Garba, Ibrahim, Iceman, let me ask you. There has been an analysis by one of the leading newspapers of reckoning in the country. I won't mention the name of the paper.
Okay.
That did an analysis, that itemized, tried to bring out the strengths and weaknesses of the three major contenders. The newspaper, the media has widely reported that that this governorship election is a 3-horse race, and I will mention their names and their weaknesses. As the MCR is going to display their pictures there so that we can tag along with viewers as they are viewing. Aswe Igwegwalo is the PDP governorship candidate, and his strengths include he's educated, cosmopolitan, choice of corporate Nigeria, business and private sector. He has business and private sector experience. His support of PDP governors. He enjoys the support of PDP governors. Candidate of Edo in diaspora, he enjoys their support. NANS, he enjoys their support. Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students. His Ishan people solidly behind him. On grounds of balance of power. He's also a good choice for running mate. He has a good choice of running mate. And let's see his picture up here on screen, please, MCR. And he boasts. His weaknesses include he's inherited the enemies of his principal. That's his benefactor. Governor Obaseki, the picture is there, right there. And he may face a menacing and crude federal might coming from the likes of Oshomole. Now, his governorship of Obaseki's third term. So he's going to continue Obaseki's third term. Let's come to Akpata, Olumide Akpata, educated, cosmopolitan, may get MBA's support as his ex-president, boasts of robust manifesto on the issues in Edo State. Robust manifesto. And he comes from a zone with huge voting power, like Garba Iceman you mentioned. May enjoy the 2023 carryover of Labour Party popularity, provided by the groundswell of support that Peter Obi got. His weaknesses include not favored by zoning, has a weak running mate. He and his running mate are considered outsiders in Edo State, not enough public sector experience, near total absence of party structure in rural areas of support. To support his campaign. Let's go to Monday Ekpobolo, the APC candidate who is started to be having strong federal might. They say he enjoys APC governor's support and by extension federal might. May get staggering support of senators as a colleague. Good media machine. I don't know how they came about that. Big war chest. He's wealthy beyond measure because they say big war chest. Demonstrated in his campaign through jingles, billboards and things like that. Strong on social media, has federal might at his disposal. But his weaknesses include lack of depth and gravitas for the office. He doesn't have depth and gravitas. He doesn't, for the office. He does not seem to understand issues and misspeaks, anytime he is given a microphone. I'm going to talk about that. He is unable to sell his manifesto well as a result of poor articulation. He's coming from same zone as Ighodalo. It's a challenge for his candidacy. A case in point, that last bullet point that was itemized here, that he misfires or he misspeaks. Anytime he's given a microphone. There was a time during the campaign rally, he was addressing Edo people, and he said, and I quote, "Edo people, when you vote me, I'm going to provide insecurity for you."
Yes.
That's what he said. And he was quickly, corrected by Edo Somali, and one of the officials was standing beside him. So, how do you look at this analysis by this paper? Is there any holes that you can pick from here?
No.
In terms of weaknesses and strengths?
You have said it all. I think it's not mandatory for us to demarcate any candidate here on this platform.
We're just talking an analysis. Take a look at
because I'll be at the wrong end of the stick. So I think what should bother us right now is what is going to happen on Saturday. Because like my colleague here rightly pointed out, Edo people are very much enlightened, very well educated. They are exposed beyond measure. And the politics playing now right now is about ego.
It's about ego.
I'm telling you, it's about ego. Because if you look at the antecedents between the time they started campaigning, alignment and all that, choice of candidates, it's about ego. And the two major fighting blocks, Shomile and Obaseki, has a lot to lose if anything happens on Saturday. Okay? I think the most important thing is, yes, in every human being we have our strengths and weaknesses and all that. But that's what matters now is who should, happen to Edo State in a way that we are going to see structural adjustment in some of these policies of the government, and somebody who aligned very well with the center, and somebody that will begin to reel out, some of the lost ground, some of the opportunities which they have lost. I travel. When I went around Benin City, yes, it was a very beautiful place to behold. And again, they are very, very rich in agricultural potentials. They have this vegetation belt that is second to none. Edo State can feed the whole of this nation.
Okay, let's take this call up.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Good afternoon. This is the Polity. Yeah, go ahead. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Austin. I'm calling you from Ogun State.
Austin from Ogun State, please, let's hear your thoughts.
Yes, as an Edo-lite, I may not really be an Edo person per se, but my mom is from Edo.
Okay.
I grew up in Edo State. I attended Abdulazeez University. Personally, I don't think the government in power have done very well. However, if we must go by the power sharing pattern in Edo State, I want to believe it is the turn of the Iceman people.
Okay.
Now, having the Iceman people will engender peace in Edo State.
Okay.
As other regions in recent past have all the governors except the Edo Central people. So it is my opinion that all other groups in Edo State must come together to ensure that the best candidate among the Edo Central people emerges. That is my thought.
Okay, thank you so much, Austin, for your thoughts. Did you hear him, Aziz?
Yeah.
How would you react to that?
I heard him. He's talking about the turn of Iceman. If you look at all his speech or statements, it's bent on that. You see, the Iceman candidate too, I heard or I either read about that they said he cannot even speak the Iceman. fluently. And yeah, he responded to, he said, yes, I cannot speak it fluently, but I was born of it. So, but one thing is,
the Asian blood runs in him.
yeah, it runs in
He
him.
cannot speak
Yes, as you say, good. It runs in him, so definitely. But you see, one thing about that division of the fact that this is central, this is south, this is north, I think it is time for our teaming Nigerians to understand that looking at the candidate who has the experience, who has the expertise, and who has the state at heart should have been a major benchmark for them to choose who will rule them. Not definitely always insisting that that quota or that section system has to move on. If, for example, the South, I think they are the one having 7 local governments.
Yes.
If the South can be able to produce 1, 2, 3 times, but at the same time they are producing candidates that can deliver the state, why not? If the Eastern people now, they got it, for example, and at the end of the day, the candidate was not able to deliver the state, it is of no use.
Exactly.
It is of no use to us. So definitely, people should be considerate of that.
People should be considerate according to Abdulazeez. Please,
Hello.
your name, your name, where you're calling from, you're on.
Yes, I'm actually calling back. The candidates of the candidates in the PDP and the APC, they are both Asian people.
Yes.
This is where my disappointment in Oshomole came is. That is, so of all the APC members in Edo State, in Asian land, Oshomole could not get a vibrant Asian person that is on ground at the party. That is the issue. Why that kind of candidate? The APC candidate is far below power. He is not representing the vibrancy, the intelligence, the ability of the average Asian man. Asian man is educated. Asian man is exposed. Abdulazeez was a doctor. Born outside Asian land. He came and he performed well. That APC candidate is not it at all. Not because I have anything against him.
That's your opinion.
But because his master, they couldn't get a better candidate. It's a thing of shame and insult on the Asian people.
Okay. Are you done? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Austin. To that.
Yeah, he repeated, or he said he was talking about the candidate of APC of Pobolo. You know, I see him like moving towards one particular candidate, disqualifying one other because of qualification and maybe due to his lack of vibrancy in speech and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, I have said it earlier, you can never underestimate some people when it comes to performance. People can come with the qualifications, with the degrees from all over, but at the end it's just grammar you will be hearing the whole of the administration. What I see is a Pobolo is possibly, yes, he cannot be able to speak the way you want him to speak, but if I'm sure if maybe given opportunity, there are possibilities he can perform better than the rest. You understand? Because from what I'm understanding, he's rooted and he's together with the grassroots possibly, because it's possible he is in Edo State. He is not coming from other cities, because according to what I heard, they were even saying that even Adams Oshomole was in Jos before he now become governor in Edo State, Kaduna or Jos. So, and likewise the same Igodalo, they say he didn't grow up in Benin. So now if you look at Pobolo, is somebody that is having staying with the grassroots. It's possible he has been impacting lives even before then. So people should look inwards and outward within these 3 political contenders. I don't have any candidate in them, but one thing is I would like Edo people to be wise, as they claim to be enlightened and educated. They shouldn't go and choose somebody who will just be speaking English in office while there is no work on ground.
Okay, let's take this caller before I go to Ibrahim Iceman. Hello, good afternoon. This is the Polity live from KAFTAN Television. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Your name and where you're calling from?
Matthew from Benue State.
Matthew, our regular caller. Thank you. We appreciate your calling in constantly to share your thoughts with us. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I just want to say one or two things about what people are discussing today.
Go ahead. It's your show.
Your ability to lead, your ability to perform does not have anything to do with whether you can speak your language or you grow up from that community, from that state. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Your ability to be good, to lead your people, to give them the dividends of democracy does not have anything to do with where you live or whether you can speak the language or not. So I want to say that those people saying that the APC
candidates
lost.
Are you there? We lost him.
Yeah, lost. Yeah.
He's making very, very valid point. But Iceman, can you take up from where? Yes. Please do call back so that you can rejoin us to complete your thoughts. But Garba Iceman will continue.
No, it comes down to what I mentioned earlier on. That on the surface, it might be that it's not grounded, in bodily expressing himself and all that.
Okay, Matthew is calling back. Hello.
Hello, I'm Matthew from Benue.
Matthew, go ahead. Sorry for that glitch, with the telephone. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I was trying to say that your ability to speak your dialect or grow in that community or grow in the state does not have anything to do with your ability to deliver democracy. If you are ready to deliver democracy, if you are ready to do what your people want, you will do it.
Okay.
There are governors governing some states who grew up in foreign land. They only came to Nigeria, contested, and they won the election. Some of the governors we have today didn't even school in Nigeria. They school abroad, they came home and contested, and they won election. There are special advisors, there are ministers in this present government who I know schooled abroad, and they are performing. Your ability to do well does not mean that you must have to speak your language very well. That notion should be erased. It's a wrong notion. So I want Edo people not to break out of that preconceived idea, not to remain in that small circle and say you must be an Iceman man or you must be an whatever person for you to govern the state. No, just like the brother in the studio said, Adams Osomole was based in Kaduna. He stayed in Kaduna almost all his life. He came back to Edo State, contested the election and won election. Most of the people I know who are contesting elections in Nigeria today, go and check their record, check their background. Most of them did not grow up in where they come from. More especially the Eastern and the Igbo people. You don't expect an Igbo man to live in the state from the day he was born till the day he becomes something in the future. It's not possible. So they should remove that notion from their mind and allow the best person, the best candidate to take the day. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Matthew. Iceman, I think Matthew has spoken in tandem with your thoughts.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What matters is your ancestry and the blood that runs in you, not where you were born and where you grew up. Adams Osomole has been in Kaduna all his life working with the textiles industry. And then he came back. I've interviewed him in Kaduna while I was with NTA Kaduna. He was working with Arewa Textiles. And then he left, came back to Abuja, went home, contested the election, and became a governor. So it doesn't really matter. That's what Matthew was saying. I think it's sharing the same thought with you.
It's all about consensus building. When it's not about one man taking a decision, it's about a collective decision. When Okwebolo was presented to Edo people, at the beginning, people were doubting his capacity, but this is somebody that have a very good track record in terms of businesses and all that. And don't forget, he's in the Senate. And that if he is not good enough, would they even win election to be in the Senate in the first place? So it's a process of demarketing your opponent so that you can have an easy way. APC, they are game changers. They are in power. They are coming in federal might, and they have the capacity. They have the resources, And again, the ambition is beyond this Saturday. They want to reclaim and prepare ahead of 2027. So it's strategy for APC. So it doesn't matter who they presented now. What APC want is they want to have a grip of Edo State, because they were there before when Oshimele became a governor. And wrestling power from Obaseki is, to them, is a game changer, and is the icing on the cake. But you know, at the end of it all, Edo people will decide, and the security put in place, over 38,000, and the INEC and everything come into play. It's a testing ground. What we are calling on Edo people at this time is that if I use this popular Nigerian language parlance, shine your eyes. You know, go for somebody you can align with, and don't overheat the polity by applying too much sentiment to this, because after all, it's Edo people. If you say no, because it's not from Edo North, or it's not from Edo South or Edo Central, we will vote him. These things matter. Whoever wins, and he found out you people did not give him the vote, to tomorrow when you are coming, it's the same pattern. You take the last row when you are coming to seek for, you know, palliatives and all that. And again, at the formative stage, when he's setting up his government, he's going to populate it with people that were loyal, and at the same time gave him that advantage to succeed. So people should understand that in Nigerian politics, just like it happened in 2023 elections, when people say no, Tinubu, you know, is very weak, it's not this, it's not that, but these are games that are being played by experienced politicians. If you put your house in orders, all you need to do is to go to the trenches and galvanize support. This is what the APC is doing, and they are playing their cards. So, Macaulay, don't be surprised what happens on Saturday, because APC, they are very good in numbers.
So there could be surprises.
They could be surprises. Yeah. And that is why Obaseki is not sleeping on this matter. And the weakness of Obaseki, as I'm talking to PDP right now, is Olumide Apata. Olumide is from Edo South. Edo South, 58% vote. Do you think PDP would take off Edo South completely? No.
So the vote coming from Edo South, you know, surpasses is more than half of that.
More than half of the two zones
put together.
They will team up, and they will team up to give APC the vote. So they were going to fight for the battleground area. So, of which Obaseki will not have it easy with Edo Central and Edo North. He's not going to get anything much from there. His focus is first, what percentage out of 58 am I going to get from Edo South? Can I get up to 45? Can I get up to 40? If Obaseki get 40% vote from Edo South, it's going to be easier for him to win the election. If he get less than 30%, honestly, it's going to be difficult for him. So if you look at it, the whole permutation is around the Edo South, what everybody is going to get. Then if you come to Edo North and Edo Central, honestly, it's a no-go area for these two. But again, like it is, pedigree matters. And that is why you cannot take it away from Asue Godalo. Asue Godalo is somebody that is widely traveled, is much loved by Edo people. Forget it, that is inheriting a baggage. The problem of his predecessor. But he has played his cards very, very well. Like, I went around Edo municipality, I found out, look, most people, and you know, guess what? The bulk of voters in Edo State are women.
Okay. What's the percentage?
You will find out 75% of the votes that will be casted,
that's a good
out of 100 will be women. Because the men, on the day of election, they will just go and hang out in clubs and enjoy themselves, leaving the bulk of the job for the women. So most of the contenders, the Olumides, the Asue Godalo, Okpebolo, all of them, they are going towards seeking these votes from the women. And that's why women have a very strategic role to play in this next Saturday election. And I believe that these candidates, you see, as I'm talking to you, they are not sleeping. I spoke with somebody before I came into the studio. Give me the ambience. He said, look, we arrived home around 4 a.m. We're about to go out again. So Nobody is sleeping. They are going to the nooks and crannies, galvanizing support. And don't forget, you know, these people, in terms of agriculture, the women, they are doing so well, especially in plantain, in palm kernel, and all these areas. So they are more concerned about their welfare. They are more concerned about somebody they can relate with, and they are more concerned with the traditional institution, the Benin Kingdom. The Oba of Benin have a very strategic role to play in this. But again, we don't want the traditional institutions to, we caution them, because at the end of the day, if you go through the local constitution, the paramount ruler, they don't have too much in the political dispensation. You are restricted to your local government of concern. You don't have much power. But at the same time, you wield influence.
But if you cross the line, if you cross the red line, you can be dethroned. You can be dethroned. So I think we should play down this, the politics in such a way that there should be no bitterness. And I will still insist that Godwin Obaseki and the PDP should try as much as possible to douse tension by signing this peace accord. Even it mean 24 hours before the election. There's still time. There's still time. Because that alone, that peace accord, if you sign, shows that yes, you are focused. That shows that yes, you love the Edo people. That shows a lot that it's not do or die affair. That shows that even with federal might, you can still win your elections.
Of course, yeah.
You have done so well over the years, 2 terms in office, and you said you are still going to fight to win. No, it's what you sow that you certainly going to reap.
Okay, what kind of Edo do you envisage after this election? What's your expectation?
My expectation is the expectation of every common Nigerian. You see, for me, what I understand is if you look at the way they're hitting the Polity, it shouldn't have been. But on the ground, those 3 contenders, they have a big role to play to ensure that they sensitize their voters and they enlighten them more, so that this thing will be, number 1, peaceful, and people will be wise to choose the better candidate they want. Looking at the 3 people there, the 3 major contenders, LP, APC, PDP, it is always telling us that if the 3 of them cannot be able, if people find out that the 3 of them cannot even deliver, there are other parties
right.
queuing there.
After,
yes.
The list, there are 17.
Yes, as Iceman said, just this coming Thursday, that's tomorrow, Abi, there could be game change.
Exactly.
People can decide and say, no, we can't even go for this one or that one. Let's go for a different party. And they bought them out all. Obaseki, he is the incumbent. He has the incumbency power. But don't forget, when he fall out, as you mentioned, with his godfather earlier on, that's Adam Shomole, he got the backing of Inyeso Muke, who is in Rivers then. He was a Rivers governor. But shortly, even after him winning, they fall apart. So this is very common in politics. We have seen it in several states. Sokoto, we have seen this. In Kano, we have seen this between Kwankwaso and Ganduje. It all happens. So don't rule out the person he is supporting, even if he wins, it will be the same discussion. They said it's not the same topic women discuss when they are going to market, but when they are coming back from market, it will be a different subject. So definitely it could be different. Likewise, the Adams of Shomole matter, him supporting the APC candidate also, if you look at it carefully, yes, he's coming with federal might, but sometimes if you are leading with, if you are doing something with people that are enlightened, there is no might that can work. What it works is what you have on ground, what he delivers before now, and the person he's bringing. He's a senator, according to what people said. So being a senator, that means he has the political prowess to clinch that seat also, because he has been tested by his people. I'm not looking at whether it's south or north or central, but the issue is here, the candidates themselves speak for themselves. Even when you are reading their profile, it shows clearly that they have, both of the three of them have the capabilities. If it is based on track record, both of them can win, and any one of them can deliver. But the issue is, the optimism is very necessary there. But the only thing is, what is the best thing for them to do is, whoever wins, they should support and move Edo State forward. Okay,
Garba, Iceman, let's take a look at INEC preparation so far. What would you say?
Oh, fantastic. INEC, well, Nigerians are not too hopeful when it comes to elections, but these off-cycle elections, people's eyes are focused on INEC. Sorry. 2027 is around the corner. And this, if I borrow your word, is a litmus test for INEC. Professor Yakubu, you have been under the spotlight to manage elections. How has it been for you? So with given the scenario, yes, we have people who have, I think as of a few last week, over 463,000 voters cards were given out. People came to collect their PVCs and all that. And INEC, I mentioned 3 times, they should be very careful with these elections coming up in Edo State, because these people are very enlightened. We don't want to see too much court cases. We're not prepared for that now. We don't want to see violence, and we don't want to see people, losing confidence in the credibility of INEC.
Okay.
So INEC is warning to INEC at the same time is a time for them to, reclaim their position as the official umpire for Nigerians. Because any foul move would lead to chaos and violence. We don't want to see that happen anymore. So INEC, I believe, they should be careful. The beavers must work. That is one. Whereas the beavers will fail, then people should be notified that if you are coming, you join the queue and flash your voter's card and vote, and you leave. Because I monitored an election recently, during the last election, where the beavers failed. What did we do? There was a consensus among the voters. Say, look, now that the beavers have failed, let us go through the voters register for accreditation. So INEC must prepare for plan B, so that there will be no failure. Like I said, Edo is strategy for Nigerian politics. Edo is central. That is the gateway to the north and the south of this country. And we want the best to happen to Edo people. We don't want a situation whereby at the end of the day they'll start casting aspersion at INEC. We don't have confidence in INEC. But with the security deployment, and at the same time, INEC should understand that, look, there are gladiators here, especially the 2 contenders, the PDP and the APC. So they must do a checklist, and they must make sure that they play according to the rules.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, Abdulazeez, INEC preparation, what's your view?
So, INEC preparation, as Iceman stated, at this point, I think they're okay. Because based on what we see, they
we've not heard any complaints.
Yeah, they are prepared. No complaint really. As he said, voters are collecting their cards, and INEC should ensure that voters were allowed. Nobody should be disenfranchised. People has the right to vote, and they should be allowed to get that right to vote. In the event of violence, or in the event of beavers failure, INEC must provide plan B and C. You understand? What I mean is, as he said, beavers might fail. It's an electronic device. It can fail. But the papers, if they are there, yes, they can come and check the list, do accreditation, and allow people to vote. It shouldn't be that because beavers fail, then everything will fail. Those people will now be will not be allowed to vote, to cast their vote. It shouldn't have worked that way. Then another thing is the securities. Our Nigerian securities, the police, they have to ensure that the conduct is peaceful. As I said earlier on, they should not be partisan. They should ensure that people queue and vote peacefully. Everybody should go to his house and rest and wait for the result. That thing will be a benchmark for people to know that yes, INEC, they can give their confidence, and they can also be sure that yes, INEC is prepared, and in the next coming election they don't have anything in mind that say INEC is being biased or INEC is partisan or something like. We don't expect that anything from INEC, because it's the body of the election, and the foreign observers, national observers, everybody is watching what they are doing. Anything they did, it will end up in either court or something like. It's not expected, as Iceman said.
Okay, Ibrahim, Garba, Iceman, as we gradually wind down, let me talk to you about the media, the role of the media. I know that the media has done a lot. When you switch on your television set, every day you hear analysis, and you watch analysis of political analysis, so to speak. And Edo State election has been on the spotlight. Even newspapers, when you read newspapers, I just quoted one of the national newspapers that did an analysis on the 3 major candidates. What do you expect from the media?
I think the media is well positioned in Edo State. They've done their accreditation from the INEC headquarters. And the local media also, they are playing strategic role, because I monitored some media organizations, especially during the debates among the candidates, although these other ones could not show up. Media Apata, well, he is very vocal and very confident. And the media, from the look of things, their challenge is how to network the interior parts of Edo State. So I think the media, we will call on the security agencies to identify them, give them backup and support. Whereas cases of violence were up, the media, they are the ones that will report.
Yeah.
And I believe there are some media organizations that want to televise live from the voting centers and all that. And the others, they should know it's not about concentrating on the Edo South alone, which is the battleground area. They should do as much as possible to network the 18 local, like we have 192 wards. Okay, it's not possible for the media to give us wider coverage, but I believe there is a heavy deployment as well, and INEC has made provisions for them. I think from tomorrow we'll start seeing them moving up to Edo State, and we are going to have effective media coverage, that I assure you, because the facilities have been put in place. But you see, you can't rule out the possibility of maybe people embarking on pockets of violence here and there, which can be sponsored by thuggery, politicians and all that. We don't want to see that happen. They should be very careful, because these are people, they're always on the line of fire. If there is violence, they say, no, you don't have to report. They will seize your camera, they will do this, they will damage your phones and all that. So we need security backup for the media, because they are the ones that will tell us on the spot what is happening on ground. And I believe your station, KAFTAN,
we're opening our studio by 10 o'clock, and I'm going to mention it.
Okay, the KAFTANs have a big role to play in this, because the KAFTAN is widely watched around these areas. It's not everybody have the money to pay for pay TV and all that. So the media have a very strategic role to play in covering this, and I believe this election will show Nigeria is mature. Nigeria can handle its affairs electronically, and the INEC, yes, we are going to see this will test the ground for INEC, whether they are fully prepared or not, because the media will report it if they get it wrong. And this it's a responsibility. And again, I will use this opportunity for for some of these observers that are coming, especially international media organizations, the electoral observers, and the CSO, the CBOs, that because they are going to partner with the media to give us effective coverage. That should be fair to Nigerians by giving us effective reporting.
Abdulazeez, Idris, thoughts on the role of the media on the day of an election and even after the election. Please tell us.
Yes, in developed countries, media is being given all the necessary backing that is needed during elections, and we do expect here in Nigeria too. because you cannot, there's no democracy that thrives without journalism, without media. In any setting, matters that affect election and democracy, you see that media play a major role in both enlightenment, sensitization, reorientation, and others. So I think at this point, any sort of intimidation or victimization of media personnel should be avoided by security personnel. Okay. It's unacceptable, and they should work hand in hand, because reporting through the media, is very important, because all the world are watching. They are watching to see whether in Nigeria our democracy is about getting to maturity. I'm sure we are not matured up till now, the way I see it, but we are moving forward. We are making progress if you look at it, and we should not use the election to undermine that work in progress that we are making, because by the time they deny media and journalists to have a accurate reporting, definitely that means something is wrong somewhere. Okay. And it will be perceived as that we are yet to become democratic. Okay.
Ibrahim, Garba, Iceman, I don't take your, coming to the Polity on KAFTAN television studios for granted. We profoundly welcome you, and thank you for coming to the Polity today. Ibrahim, Garba, Iceman, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you, Abdulazeez Idris, for heeding our invitation to come to the Polity live on KAFTAN television. Please, thank you for coming.
It is my pleasure.
Well, that's our package today. I promise you, we're going to open our studios by 10 o'clock. We're going to be live here, and we'll open our telephone line. I'll be here with my colleague John Okoro to give you minute by minute happenings in Edo State as it unfolds on the day of the election on the 21st of September 2024. For now, my name remains Macualey Hunohashi, saying thanks for always being there, and see you next time. Bye-bye for now.